Jen, I just told you that we're gonna pretend like this is a phone call, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So,
That's right.
um,
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in Texas. It's hot. It's 107 degrees.
Was in Arizona last week. It was 115.
What were you doing
They
down
can
there?
they can have it. I was taking a phenomenal AI course for 3 days.
AI.
Mhm.
God,
Like, cutting edge amazing stuff.
you feel good about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's useful. I'm not gonna say it's not useful, but they're trying to build a data center back home, and everybody's like up in arms, like fighting it.
Sure,
So I don't know.
sure.
Weird times. I guess we just got to roll with the punches and use what we can.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a it can certainly save you a lot of time and expertise, and, I mean, I even used it to buy my new truck 2 weeks ago that I had ordered, and I was down to, like, the penny of what I was gonna pay for it
So
because AI
that's how
helped
you
me
did
that
your
much.
research. Man, which one were you using?
Chat GPT?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It seems like the easiest one to break into. That's what I use most of
sure,
the time too. So, but you were
sure.
so you're using it for business too?
I mean, I use it mostly for business, to the point where I've learned how to even build my own advisory board for my business so that every time I ask it a question, it goes through an advisory board.
That's smart.
It is really cutting edge amazing
Did
stuff.
you imagine people who you want on your advisory board and like build it that way, like from there? That would be fun.
That's actually yeah, because you can name anybody you want on your advisory board and say, "I want you to think like this and act like this and, fight like this." Yeah,
That's cool. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I need a CFO and I need a COO. So maybe that's what I'll build them for myself. You know.
So, with this particular advisory board, what you have is a antagonist, a strategist, an analyst, a coach, and
Oh.
a challenger.
And you learned this out at your
One of the many things.
that's just it. Okay. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that.
So now if I say, "Hey, I have this new idea," it goes to the advisory board, and your coach will be like, "Oh, that's really sweet. You're so," and the antagonist, the challenger's like, "That's the stupidest idea." Um, really cool stuff.
That's awesome. And obviously this is for QK, which is something that I want to talk a lot about. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but QK for life decisions, it's pretty amazing stuff if you know how to prompt it. It's not gonna make people dumber. You have to know how to ask and how to prompt it, and that's what I'm learning how to do.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things, that um my business partner in my gym were talking about, with what we do is, everybody has all this fear that uh, human performance coaches and stuff are going to go away, but the reality of the situation is like people don't know what to ask it. Like we have all the experience and everything that we know how to. You're just going to get bullshit answers if you don't know what to ask. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's a good thing. But Jen, I don't want to. I think you should introduce yourself rather than me going through and doing an introduction because I think we would get much more
Sure,
background and information. So Jen, I mean, well, now we have to pretend like we're not on the phone for a minute. So
sure.
you have to tell everybody who
Yeah,
you are and what you do.
sure. My name's Jennifer Broome. I currently live in the northeastern corner, the quiet corner of Connecticut. Never really thought that I'd end up in Connecticut. I grew up on the Jersey Shore. Jersey girl. I grew up on the water. Um, Completely free spirited, independent kid that had a boat from the time she was like 8 years old, and Boston whaler kicking around, and grew up competitive sailor on the Barnegat Bay. Grew up hunting with my dad, the Eastern Shore of Maryland and Barnegat Bay since I was a little kid. Went to school for wildlife biology and management in Rhode Island. Fell in love with New England, and I'm here. Was always an entrepreneur. If I didn't have a paper route, a lawn mowing business, a boat cleaning business, babysitting, dog walking, you name it. Like I just wanted to pile money away and have toys and play as a kid. I was just an entrepreneur and a really hard worker. So when I went to school for biology and I worked as a biologist for seasonal positions with the feds and the state of Rhode Island, um, it just really felt kind of trapped within. I wasn't able to really work hard, play hard, and there wasn't really a lot of opportunities for advancements at the entry level. and I had such a dog interest, so was training dogs on the side, and, I was a self-taught dog trainer back as a teenager, and then in my 20s, got my first retrievers and would hunt with them. Ironically, I never had a dog as a kid. I trained everybody else's dogs,
No kidding.
and, our first dog that we got was a standard poodle when I was maybe 10 and trained her for hunting. So, I, um started my dog training business in about 2000 here in Connecticut. My properties I bought up here in Connecticut, but, it's just I've been an entrepreneur. I'm constantly a never-ending improvement for what I do, and, now I'm really blessed and fortunate. I've 26 years with my kennel facility, 2 kennel facilities on a property, 100 acres in Connecticut, and I love what I do. I help dogs live better lives, and,
Yeah.
I don't just say, like, I'm a dog trainer, a kennel operator, owner. I mean, my goal is when I see a dog is how can I help that owner connect more with the dog to help that dog live a better life?
Yeah.
And that's through health and training and wellness because I'm just a huge student of it. I've been a lifelong hunter. Grew up as a Ducks Unlimited kid. My dad was the chairman of Ducks Unlimited Barnegat Bay chapter for 10 years. So I mean, I just grew up duck hunting and waterfowl hunting, but really took to upland hunting in my 20s and got obsessed with grouse hunting and woodcock hunting, and then started doing trips out west. And now, I mean, I'll go 4 weeks on the road with my dog truck full of dogs, and we'll hunt for 4 weeks straight. And thanks to you, walk I think like 227 miles last year and 3 weeks of upland hunting.
It's not that
Um,
much.
that was it, yeah. So, and I am also very competitive with my dog, so I've competed at the national level, everything from hunt tests and field trials with retrievers, Labradors, spaniels, horseback stuff. I'm an outdoors woman, I love being outside.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the life that you have set up for yourself is beautiful, and
It's fun.
I'm really happy to hear that you to hear the full story and how much you've built and what you have. I mean, it's I think it's something that a lot of people aspire to, but you had the gumption and the grit to
Yeah,
build it for yourself, and that's I
and it's
think it's beautiful for people to hear. What were you gonna say?
it's funny because almost everything I do within my scope of hobby, like, I could get paid for. Just,
Yes.
if I'm fishing, I could take a client dog and take them to enjoy a fishing experience. My horses, it's just I'm so grateful to live this passionate life outdoors, to be doing something that, I'm following my dreams. I'm not saying it's not hard. I mean, at times I've had 25 employees helping at the kennel, trainers, grounds people, like, so it's a battle and you don't know what's going to come tomorrow, and COVID hit and economy's been tough lately, and it's not like it's all there's a lot of stress involved,
Oh, sure.
and that's what's so helpful for me about my constant professional development is I'm not a dog trainer. I'm an entrepreneur who actually has 4 businesses and just works her ass off and loves it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I get the whole hobby thing because I look at it, I'm like, well, how can I do this more? Well, if I make it a business, like I can,
Yeah,
then I can really justify spending all the time and stuff that I do on it. So I love that because I think and I think a lot of people get scared that they're going to ruin it for themselves if they do that.
sure.
And that's 100% not been my experience. I don't know
Yeah.
about you.
You can like I chose to never campaign dogs for people professionally to compete. Like I'll train your dog foundation. I'll problem solve, I'll train it for hunting, but if I'm gonna when I compete, which is on the weekends, it's with my own dogs.
Yeah.
And so that's really to me been a very secret of success because I know a lot of incredible peers and dog trainers who train dogs Monday through Friday and then are campaigning those same client dogs on the weekends. And I mean that's 7 day a week burnout, family and kids and lifestyle. And often those same top dog trainers in the country don't even have their own dogs because they're burnt out or the dogs just sit on the truck and don't get worked. And that was just something that I aspired to never happen. My dogs for me are part of my resume and part of my I get to demonstrate with them and then I just get to go passionately walk behind them in the field and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that was a decision I made a long like 20 years ago.
That's really great. Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to some kind of boundary about
Sure.
what you're gonna keep for yourself and
Yeah.
what everybody else has access to. I like that.
I mean, I even think it was right before COVID, I finally made a pact to myself I wasn't gonna work Sundays, and I mean, I'll still work the occasional Sunday if I have a clinic or something like that, but I mean, the amount of times I spent building my career, I don't know a holiday, and I don't know what a weekend day is because those are your busiest times, so it's just I've never had a real job.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing is it I was funny, there's 2 things. I was texting a couple of my buddies and I were texting earlier today, and, my one buddy was saying about how he doesn't understand, cubicles and all that kinda stuff 'cause he has to work in one now and he hasn't before, and I was saying he said about corporate jobs, and I was like, "Yeah, I think honestly that's why I got fired from every corporate job I ever had because," and then I was like that, and I didn't wanna be there and I didn't do my work,
Right.
But working for yourself, like JM, my client that I'm here in Texas with, we were coming back from Colorado the other day, and he said, "Well, what do you do? I mean, do you work on the weekends?" And I was like, "I often try not to, but sometimes Sunday is the busiest day that I have of the week, you know?
Yeah.
It's just but it doesn't bother you too much, because 'cause you're
Yeah.
doing something for yourself and you're doing something you enjoy.
The other thing, I opened my kennel facility, officially the doors in, like, 2004, but I still had dogs previous to that. But pretty much almost in 26 years, I've never not been responsible for having dogs in my care that were client dogs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if I leave the country for something, there's still dogs back at my kennel facility and my cell phone's always on me, you know? So, even people that might have a restaurant or something, they can close it for a week or 2 weeks, go on vacation. I've never closed my facility, ever.
And you gotta be wired for that, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
not for everybody. You
you're
gotta
exactly right.
so it's
Wired for that.
but I wanna go back to something that you mentioned when you were doing your introduction. You said about, you know, your goal is to give dogs a better life, and
Yep.
I really like that, and I know you come at it from a holistic perspective, but, like, I wanna first talk about kind of the training aspect of it because I I think a lot of people and you can tell me that I'm wrong about this, but I think a lot of people think if they're just really nice to their dogs, and I'm not, condoning not being nice to a dog, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah,
if they just baby their dog and do all that kind of stuff, like, that creates them a good life for them, and they don't train them properly, and they don't get the behavior in line, and then their dog doesn't actually get to have a full experience, and you don't get to have the full experience with your dog, and I think that's from using your materials and as with training my dog Ruth, it's like she gets to do so much cool shit because she's well trained, and I'd
yeah.
love to hear more what you had to say about that.
So I mean, I coined a phrase that trained dogs live better lives because they really do. I've got a dog at my feet right now, sound asleep.
Yeah.
Um, I could have 6 dogs at my feet right now, although probably they'd be a little bit busy. So that's the cocker anyway and the German short hairs. But yeah, so dogs are still dogs. They're gonna go out and they're gonna roll in crap and find a dead mouse and sniff each other's butts. So I love to put respect of the dog before love of the dog because respecting them is respecting their needs. And if I could come up with a way to breed dumb, non-athletic dogs, I'd be a multi gabillionaire because a lot of people just want to come home from a busy day at work and just love on a dog and squish into a dog and it's almost like a selfish thing. Um, a dog is a life if you do it right, a dog is a life just lifestyle. And what does that mean? I mean, they're all bred for something. Even if you had the Heinz 57 you got out of a shelter, whether it's got hound dog, Jack Russell, whatever, those dogs have burning desires to do a job. And Todd, if right now you and I were like put in a blank room with a chair and nothing to do, right?
It'd be a
Because
problem.
you want to be doing stuff all the time. If you're in that blank room and the phone book was in there, we'd be reading the phone book and then we'd make games of ourselves of for the phone book just to work our minds. So many dogs that I'm around just don't live fulfilled lives because they don't get to use their brain. And what happens is people are often and this is I'm not trying to go on a rant or anything, but this is so common with dogs today when I go in someone's house and the dog is completely in charge of the household. And in some cases, the dog could be aggressive, but often the dog is just neurotic and doesn't have an off switch. And here's the thing is that they're wired to do a job. And the people love the dogs so much that the dog now has to micromanage the people.
Yeah,
And they're never an off switch. When you and I started talking when you first got Ruth, one of the first things I convinced you was the crate and why we crate them.
yeah,
Because the crate helps to embed in their neurological system an off switch. By nature, anyway, dogs are loafers. You know, coyotes, wolves, dogs, they want to sleep and they need about 16 to 18 hours of sleep a day. Puppies, growing puppies, are 20 hours of sleep a day. And when you don't help to nurture that, you get a dog that can never stop working. And that turns into reactivity and behavioral problems and stuff. So, why a crate? Well, when you can put a dog into a crate and you're simulating a den environment, they have no responsibility. So they get to sleep. And it's really interesting. There's scientific data behind this. You can Google how many hours of sleep does a dog need a day? Well, puppies need 20 hours of sleep because in 6 months they grow to almost full adult size in 6 months. And a dog requires the 16 to 18 hours of sleep a day. And it's simply because we get our adequate REM within 8 hours. A dog does not get the same REM that we do. So they need to nap, 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 nap. And the more the more interrupted sleep they get, the more um, busy that they are. So if you hadn't been crating Ruth and now you got up right now to go into the next room and she followed you and you woke her up from her nap, in her mind, she's your shadow following you or she's owning you. Either way, she's not in charge. I mean, she's in charge.
right.
If you were in charge, you could have just said, go to your bed, stay there. There's her rule. That's not being mean. There's her rule. And now that gives her a boundary. So the problem that I see with so many dogs is they don't have rules and boundaries. So psychologically, they take over the household and the household problems never stop. It's UPS men coming, it's neighbors coming out, guests coming over, it's the kids bothering them, it's this, it's that, it's food. And the dogs constantly have to micromanage the people. And we've got like totally overly exhausted dogs that get behavioral problems.
Hmm. Yeah.
Does that resonate?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
it's uh, Ruth is. I mean, with Ruth, I mean, getting her crate trained was and giving her a place. Learning
Yep.
place and learning to go into her kennel. I mean, truth be told, she doesn't like her kennel, but she knows it's her job. When I
Sure.
say it's time to go there, she goes there, and it's been huge. I mean, and for a lot of reasons, but even now, like, I mean, she's not in her kennel, but she's resting, and she
Sure.
knows that she's not supposed to be over here, you know?
Well, I think because also you put that, you know, let's put it this way. I do not get up every morning and say, I can't wait to do the human predator pack mule workout.
Sure.
Okay. I'm sorry. Instead, I make it a game as it's going to be like the hardest part of my day to start anyway. Right. Because I work out in the morning. And so it's not like I want to work out, but I feel great afterwards. And I know how good it is for me. The thing is if you really condition a dog to a crate where you feed them in there, you give them high value chews in there, and they take all their naps in there, then they actually will seek a crate out for like that meditative state because they know nobody's going to bother them in there.
Mm,
So it's about using it with enough consistency and repetition again, and especially based around food. You're going to eat in your crate. It's your dining room and it's your bedroom. Um, you're really helping to condition them that it's a really good place to be, and they really then seek it out.
yeah.
And to me, the crate equals an off switch. The crate equals that they can turn off their brains, turn off their bodies, and just have no responsibility.
It's really interesting because, like, that's I mean, I've done exactly what, you told me to do. Like, she eats in there, she gets her ugly chews in there, like,
Yep.
all of anything that's gonna be valuable, and she goes in when I tell her to, but I don't she still doesn't love it. She just goes in and she stays there, and that's I can leave the door open and she doesn't come out, and but it's just she doesn't love it, but she knows that's where she's supposed to be.
Sure.
So,
It's a well, I guess that's what I was saying. It's like it's part of a discipline. Same thing growing up as kids, we had to sit at the dinner table.
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, I still love to go just chill on the couch and eat my dinner, not having to sit at the dinner table, but we were conditioned for that. That, if we're gonna eat, we're gonna sit at the dinner table.
Yeah.
So it's just again part of that learning experience.
Yeah. No, and it's been and that and the the leash work that that you teach. It's just uh, I've I've had other friends that are having trouble with their dogs and stuff like that. I'm like, well, go look at Jen's course and put
Yeah,
them on a leash until they learn everything that they need to learn. And it's
sure.
invaluable.
So, as far as leash work, when I hear somebody say my dog's better off leash than on leash, I'm like, "Oh, sure." And my employees do much better when I'm not there, but when I'm there, they goof off. Like that's my kind of analogy because really, when your dog is on the leash is when they should be being the most obedient. But here's the problem: most people, you hand a dog leash, and the first thing they do is take all the slack out, roll it up around their hands, and hold tight.
Yeah.
And that would be like if I came to greet you and instead of shaking your hand, I grabbed you around the neck and I squeezed. So, grabbing a leash and holding it tight is a form of pressure. And everybody wants to get away from pressure through a fight, freeze, or flight. So, when you hold a leash tight, it's going to cause the dog to pull. Um, I will give any one of my trained dogs, this happens with vet techs all the time. They're like, "Here, we'll take your dog." And they take them and they grab all the slack out. And all of a sudden, they're choking my dog for no reason. So my dog's pulling to try to get away from that.
Yeah.
So, my leash course that I teach specifically, I learned so much of it from horse training. I'm in my barn right now. I've had horses my whole life. And you cannot force a 1,200-pound horse to move. You teach them to politely lead. You teach them, whether you're riding them or on the ground or getting them in a trailer, you teach them to politely lead. When I started using that same concept in dog training, and it took a bit because I was more old school, how I learned dog training, more forcing them to do things. The more you force, the less they try.
Yeah.
When I started teaching them to follow the guidance of pressure and how to turn the pressure off, it's basically how I'd explain it to you and what's in my videos and my teaching is you're teaching them to follow the point of contact pressure. And so, yeah, it's the system that I use. I mean, it works on every dog, whether it's a Chihuahua or a Mastiff. And just like a horse, you're not teaching. You don't have to teach a verbal system. You're teaching them how to follow a feel of pressure on a leash.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, most dogs pull because people hold the leash tight. Most dogs are reactive because people transmit fear, anxiety, frustration right down the leash, which then triggers the dog to react.
Yeah. And I don't think people get that their emotions are affecting the dog.
Yeah,
That's my sister's a big horse person too, and that's something that we've talked about a lot about how similar dogs and horses are.
yeah.
Yeah.
They are and they aren't. I used to have Arabian horses because my hardcore sport before the dog stuff was racing 50 miles on horseback. I did a sport called endurance riding, and that was phenomenal. I mean, you'd go 50 miles straight. I did that all over the country on Arabians, which are very flighty animals. So a horse is a prey species, and you can't mess up with a horse; they can kill you. Dogs are so tolerant, and we can get it really, really wrong with dogs unless it's a Malinois. Nothing against a Malinois, but they'll come right up the leash right to you and grab you by the neck because they're not going to tolerate it. But a lot of breeds just endure our nonstop pressure and they're a predator. So a prey species like a horse is much flightier. Um, so I really have to switch gears when I go from dog training to horse training.
Mm,
I have to tone it down. Um, because a horse reads your body language even more and can be even more reactive.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah,
makes sense. I think what I was getting at is more like the communication can't be like I'm trying to brutalize you. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah,
It just doesn't work. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, it's it's been a great process, using what I've learned from you and what I've learned from Mike to train Ruth and just feeling, because I remember I texted you and we did the her first hike where I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna cut you off the leash, and I think you're ready for this." And just her doing, her recall being great, her referencing me as soon as she went
Yeah.
out, and just like it just was just confirmation that all of the obedience and leash work and everything that we did up to that was it worked really, really well.
I'm so proud of you. It's such a beautiful feeling when you have a partnership with a dog. So if you open the door and you step outside and that dog chooses to hang out with you because you're such a good leader, that shows you're doing a good job. We had a graduation this past weekend at the kennel, and the people had 2 Labradors, and they're like, we open the door and the dogs run out the front door and run down the road and are gone.
Yeah.
And I make a joke. I'm like, well, I wouldn't even feed an animal that just ran away from me like that. Okay. Because there's a problem there. But it really just goes to show that they're not the leaders and the dogs don't want to hang out with them, you know? So I think a really, really, and your sister would know this from the horse training, when you put a horse in a round pen, your ultimate goal is to do a join up where this prey species turns and joins up with you to follow you, not bolt from you. The same thing with the dogs. When I can step outside and despite deer around, rabbits around, unstable other dogs around, my pack just hangs out with me and they're like, Mom's badass. She's the leader. We're cool." Um, it's a pretty amazing thing.
It feels really, yeah, we had a really good test in Colorado, so we went back into this wilderness area and expected to see nothing. Well, apparently, I didn't know that you're allowed to graze cattle in wilderness areas in Colorado,
Oh.
and so they pushed a cattle drive through, and we're sitting there under the tarp, and Ruth's laying in front of us, and there's 30 cows around her, and she's just laying there looking around at them, not doing a damn thing, and so I was like, we're in a real good spot. We're in a real
That's
good spot.
funny.
She also did roll in cow shit, which was disgusting, but
Yeah,
that's
there's the dog in there. We can say they're little humans,
well,
all day long in fuzzy costumes, but they're dogs.
you should have seen how happy she was, and then I was like, like, the tone of my voice changed, and she was like, "Oh, shit," and then she
Yeah, literally. Oh shit,
yeah,
messed up.
but
Yeah.
she ran over and rubbed it all on me to try to make up with me, which was awesome, so,
Yeah.
but,
I think it's just the most beautiful thing to share a relationship with a dog where again, like they want to be with you and there's nothing like it.
yeah, no, it's awesome. It really is. It's a beautiful thing, and, she's my pet. She comes along hunting, but for being a hunting breed, she's not a hunter. Like, so it'll be good to get a hunting dog. I think, you know, I know you did really well with your GSPs this year, and I've been my JM, my buddy here, he has a GSP that's a great dog, and I've been going back and forth with Lardy and him telling me different dogs I should consider, and I really like the GSPs. I think they seem like great dogs. So
I always encourage people to start with a Labrador Retriever for their first hunting dog if they're new to dogs and they're new to hunting with a dog, because a Lab is such a versatile dog, such a great family pet, and some of the most forgiving. And this is a field Labrador, they're field Labrador Retrievers. You're not talking the show Labrador Retrievers. But in your case, you're an athletic guy, you've already had multiple dogs, and you do so much hiking and stuff. I think you'd totally be able to graduate no problem to a GSP, and you would love a GSP.
yeah,
Um, that when you get into the German breeds, they're harder headed, they're more dominant, they're can be more persistent with a lot of things. They're gonna chase that porcupine and challenge you. They're gonna challenge you over everything. But when you really get them trained, I mean, I love being on the road as a woman by myself when I'm on the road hunting. I love having my short hairs because my short hairs will scare the crap out of people, going ballistic in my truck. And the Labs, will show you where the guns and money are. So,
for sure.
um,
Yeah,
well, the cocker. So that they're the temperament and intestinal fortitude of short hairs, and Mike's got the wire hair. I mean, they're phenomenal.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
phenomenal dogs.
Well, that's what I'm going back and forth between the short hair and the wire hair, because
Yeah,
he said about how good his wire hair is at retrieving, and I like hunting ducks, so
yeah,
that might be the selling point. But you
yeah.
you're doing your upland trips every year, and I'm I love that you just take that month to do that. So
Oh, yeah, totally.
what's the plan for this year?
So I'm turning my ice maker off because it's making a racket here. on my barn. There we go. So I'm a little conflicted this year. For this trip has continued to morph in so many ways. It started with about a 1 week to 10 days where I would go to Maine, anywhere from like 5 to 7 hours away, specifically for grouse and woodcock. Then I decided to venture out to Michigan, and I go hunting sometimes with people, but ultimately, and my husband, he's not into it like I am, and I can take a person who thought they liked hunting and turn them into they hate hunting because I just I'm like, I will lose you so quick because I follow my dogs. Like I just go and it's not like I'm competitive against the person. It's just that I'm obsessed with covering miles, watching the dogs, finding birds. It's not about the killing. It's just about the intensity in the chase and how many birds I can see. And certainly I like to have plenty of birds in the bag. But I got a little burnt out of Maine of just the lack of birds. So then it turned into Michigan, and I met up with people that I'd known on Facebook, and I met some really great people there. Then I ventured up to the UP in Michigan. I ventured up to Ontario to meet a friend up there. Then I think Mike and I started hunting now about 5 years ago, and we planned this trip to North Dakota, and I went out and met him and his childhood best friend, and they hunt together regularly, and we rented a place in the middle of North Dakota. And oh my God, I had previously 20 years earlier hunted Montana in the prairies, but I hadn't been back to the prairies. And I was such a woods hunter, grouse and woodcock. And it was like we shot 9 different species of ducks. We would shoot ducks in the morning, and then we would shoot sharp-tailed grouse. We'd go after huns. Then the pheasant season would open, and it was like the ultimate mixed bag. I mean, I'd have my non-toxic shock walking across some of the areas out there, and you could bust a mallard flying over you, and then a pheasant. It's just amazing stuff. So that turned into that trip, which then we ended up adding a Wisconsin grouse trip. So now it was like a 2.5 to 3 week trip. And for me, it's a 2+ day drive out there, from Connecticut. So, and I'm so obsessed. I'll just get in my truck and drive. Then I'll climb in the back seat for about 2 or 3 hours. And then I drive almost straight there. This past year, my husband came with me and we went to Montana, and we stayed with one of my most influential mentors, Rick Smith. And he just retired. He's a bird dog guy, and he was out in lower Montana near the Wisconsin, near the Wyoming border. And we stayed a good week with him. And I hunted all around there. I shot a sage grouse. I tried to chase some dusky grouse off in like grizzly bear territory by myself. It was so stupid. And just got to hunt so many different species. And then my husband, we went to the North Dakota Badlands, and he flew home, and I made it a 4 week trip. So I stayed out there for 4 weeks. This year, my Cocker Spaniel, last year and this year, we qualified for the Nationals, and it's in Montana, and it's right in the middle of my hunting season.
Oh, no.
And I'm so torn. I've made the reservations to stay, and it's like the 24th of October. So it would mess up North Dakota, and it would mess up grouse hunting. And I'd really have to be really tough on her in a national caliber mindset of even hunting her, because you can't just meat hunt. She has to do all her skills of casting and steadiness and all that stuff. So it's a lot to think about, and I'd sacrifice my favorite time of the year. So it's to be determined.
Gotcha.
I'm
Gotcha.
training like mad. I was training her today. I trained pretty hardcore in a group on Tuesdays. And if I don't feel that we're at the level we need to be, because I'm a pro, so I have to compete against other pros who will have up to 10 dogs apiece, and I've won. It's a 3-day drive and a lot of money and a lot of effort with one, horse in the race.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll see.
you get to miss doing your favorite shit,
I know. And I know it's like if I was out after the first or second series, I'd be like, peace out, I'm going
Yeah.
hunting. So it's just that I really enjoy the camaraderie of being, even though I do so much of my hunting by myself, um, we at least eat meals together at night. Well, Mike will laugh because I usually come in after dark and they've already like finished their food, and I'm still coming in after dark. but the camaraderie and getting to hunt together with the friends and just I love that.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, obviously, I do a lot of big game hunting, but, hunting birds is it's so fun because of that, right? Like, you're with your buddies, you can talk,
Yeah,
you're having a good time.
yeah.
It's a bigger and bigger sell for me, and plus, you just have so much more opportunity, right? Like, I'm from Pennsylvania. We got 2 weeks to hunt deer, so it's being able to hunt birds and starting in October and going till the end
Oh,
of the
God, we just follow the seasons, Montana, then North Dakota, then Wisconsin, and yeah. Actually, I stopped in Minnesota, and I had one of the best hunts in my life for, like, 2 days in Minnesota before I even went to Wisconsin, and it was just epic.
ruffed grouse.
Rough grouse
Yeah,
and woodcock.
cool. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
I I haven't hunted woodcock yet. I've heard they're tough to hit,
Grouse or woodcock?
woodcock.
So, yes and no. They're so predictable. They'll hold to the last minute for a dog. So if a dog's pointing them, they're right there. And if you can do what I do, and the pointing dog points, and then you send a cocker in. Usually, the toughest thing about woodcock is they're in really thick cover, so you don't have a gun swinging capability. But if a pointing dog points, and you know the woodcock's right there, and then you get yourself into an area where you can swing your gun, and the woodcock's almost always just going to go. They go up, and they're squirrely, but they're much easier than a grouse all day long. I mean, a grouse is like, you hear a grouse and you're shooting at a blur often.
Yeah.
Um, but woodcock are, I don't know. I think they're definitely much easier.
So is that often what you do is that you hunt with your pointer you bring a pointer and a flusher?
It all depends on what group of dogs. I mean, I used to guide like that all the time for safety and just for a show, and it's the ultimate in control is the pointing dogs. The flushing dogs would walk at heel or walk or hunt within 20 yards, and the pointing dogs would be out further. If they lock up, we go up. They're holding. I send a flushing dog in. The flushing dog's job after the flush is to sit, and then I choose to let either the short hair or the flushing dog retrieve. It's my choice who I want to go get it, and, it's a great show, meaning it's very impressive to see, and it's a very high level of finished dog training.
Yeah.
Uh, when I hunt, I tend to meat hunt a little bit more, which is I don't care as much what the dogs are doing. I don't wanna be training, but because I'm competing with my dogs quite a bit, I don't let them run amok. So, it depends on the dog, the game, the situation, but I love letting the flushers flush out from underneath the pointing dogs. It's just really cool.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah,
I've never experienced that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it also allows you, the a pointing dog's gonna run a lot bigger. Pointing dogs have such a more refined nose. Pointing dogs are built differently, they breathe differently, and they can smell game from even further away. And flushing dogs in general are such mouth breathers, so they're panting a lot. And this happens almost every single time. You could have a pointing dog pointing a bird 20 yards away, and they're staring at where the bird is. And I send the flusher in, and the flusher's like, and they will run by it and buy it and buy it and buy it and buy it, and then finally flush it up. And you're like going, "Stupid dog," but it's the way that they're built, it's the way that they breathe differently and just utilize the scenting capabilities, yeah, but it's pretty cool.
It sounds really cool. I
When Mike sees me do that wi over the woodcock especially, he's like, "That's not fair," 'cause it's pretty deadly. We were up in Canada one time, and he and another buddy were pushing through the woods and there were so many woodcock, we were in the flight, and, these woodcock were hard though, because the cover was so thick. I just walked the road, and the pointing dog would go in and point, and I'd send the flusher over the wall, and it would be like a driven woodcock shot right out in the open over the road. And I was like, and you could shoot, I think 5 or 6 up there. And I was like, "Man," I came back and I had them all along my bumper, and they were like, "That is not fair."
that'll be a friend as long as you're as long as it's legal,
Uh, yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
it's
That's really
fun.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear, you mentioned steadiness. What are some of the things that you do to really ingrain that in a dog?
Oh man, that's a good question. Well, And it's funny, I'm even gonna go back to Ruth for a second because you know, you said Ruth is a hunting breed, but she's not a hunter. But I say, has she ever had an introduction to game birds like a quail or a chucker where she got to engage and chase it?
No,
Okay.
no.
So any dog, and no matter what the breed, they need that type of development to get to get that predatory drive out to chase a prey. And if they're kind of told no off of rabbits and no off of deer and no off of even songbirds, you're kind of knowing them off of chasing. But if you were to, if you came up to visit, I'd take her out and I'd be like, let's play with her with a flapping little quail or a little chucker, and you'd probably see the dogs come out. I mean, I could train a Chihuahua to hunt, and in fact, we just had a Jack Russell Terrier. I've trained German Shepherds to hunt. I have a There's been a lot of mixed breeds that I have trained to hunt for people. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee or they're gonna be as great as, say, a purebred dog that was bred through that. So anyway, you first kinda work on developing a dog's drive, and it's genetically typically there, but you're nurturing it, and when you see that hardcore prey drive come out, to wanna chase, catch, kill, or even chase a bird, then I shelve that. Then that bird is shelved and I work foundation. And
Mm,
the foundation is your heel, your sit, your go, your return, and I work a fetch, hold, and carry. And when you have a true foundation, then you're taking your dog out in the field. And even if it was Ruth, you're working on remote sits. You're working on sits with the whistle. That's why we use whistle because it can cut through when the dog's panting and running through cover. You blow a whistle, it's sharper, it's more clear than you screaming or hollering sit. It's very clear. So you're working on what's called handling, and handling is keeping your dog within shooting range if it's a flushing dog or if it's a pointing dog, allowing them to big time cut loose. But steadiness basically is taking their natural drive to want to chase, catch, kill, chase, catch, and carry, and putting control around the birds. So when the bird goes up, a flushing dog has to sit. With a pointing dog, the moment they smell a bird or see the bird, they are to stop and hold point. Well, genetically, the point has to be there.
yeah,
So if we took Ruth out, there's a chance maybe she's got enough German Shorthair Pointer or setter or whatever. Maybe there's a point in there, but you're not gonna put a stylish point into a dog that's not a genetic pointer.
sure.
You can teach them to stand when they smell, so to pause, but they're not gonna look like $1,000,000, say like a setter or something. Um, but so basically, it's putting control work around a bird to not chase. And you have to have a strong enough foundation prior to that, that even letting them run through the field, you can blow a whistle and they sit. You can blow a whistle and they sit. And you can even a rubber bumper, blow a whistle and they sit. What you're not doing is saying, I'm going to teach you how to sit when a bird gets up. You need to have all those skills beforehand. And then you're then infusing those skills around a bird with enough having had enough repetition and consistency coming in so that they understand it, but you're not clobbering them with pressure around a bird because you can intimidate a dog around a bird. You can have pointing dogs do what's called flagging or blinking, and you can have flushing dogs again blinking or not going in because they're worried about control around a bird.
Hmm,
That happens by doing improper pressure or wrong timing. So, as long as they get to understand the parameter of obedience around a bird, you do all that prior. Then, as you begin to infuse the birds, and it really helps too to have birds that, like a pigeon, that they think they want to chase, it flies away, they can't catch it.
ah,
The hardest birds to train on are pen raised birds because your dog can catch and be rewarded by catching the bird. But when you can train on wild birds or pigeons, you let them go in and chase, and when they chase, because you want them to be steady, they can't win. You bring them back, you have them sit, and through enough repetition, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna catch this." You're like, "Yep, okay, we're gonna work on more control." But unless you have a foundation going into it, you're just putting way too much pressure on a dog, and now you're gonna run into all kind of problems.
gotcha. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Maybe I'll bring Ruth up and see what she can do. That'd be kind of fun.
So, you experienced it. Could you imagine being in the middle of that cattle drive when you got Ruth the first week and you had no control of her?
Oh god, it would've been
She'd
a
be
nightmare.
totally reactive, right?
Yeah, she would've gotten hurt. Yeah.
Because she had the skills and she trusted you, she was able to keep her composure in a scary kind of situation, honestly, and because she had the confidence of obedience, it turned out to be a great situation.
Yeah.
Obedience, bottom line, builds confidence in a dog because you're giving them a system of rules to follow. So there's no uncertainty.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is, like, I I think maybe some people would think I'm a little overbearing, but I don't really let her get away with anything ever. Like, it's always, "We do what dad says, and if you don't do it the first time, I'm gonna make you do it," you know? So it's
That makes for a more stable dog.
yeah. Yeah,
You don't let
it's
the kids run a household. You don't let your little nieces and nephews run the household. Nope, we don't let the dogs either. So no, you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. It's been fun. It's, uh it's interesting to, and it's just funny you bring up the chase thing, because like, I haven't let her chase anything because I've been I'm training her because I want her to come along on big game hunts and not, see an elk and tear off after it, like, you gotta stay beside me, and so,
Sure.
you know, we saw deer in the woods a couple weeks ago, and as soon as she saw them, I said, "Stay," and she didn't even she just looked and watched him run off and didn't wanna chase, and so I'd be interested to see, if we let a pigeon run through a pasture and kind of see what she would do and see how to train her
Yeah.
into it. I don't know?
So you have to be careful. You wouldn't put them on a larger bird, a pheasant, or anything like that. But you're playing like a cat and mouse game,
Yeah.
and you're trying to entice them to chase it and to grab it. Because really, whether I have a 2 year old dog that's never seen a bird or a 2 or 3 month old puppy, all I'm trying to do is get those like genetic juices flowing to become a predator and want to chase and grab it. And the goal when I first show a dog a bird is that they want to chase, and I actually want them to grab it and carry it all around and parade
Be
it.
proud of it.
Once you get over that hump, again, that's where I now shelve it and say, "Okay, you've got the drive. Now we need to work around all the rules around it."
Yeah. That makes
You know,
sense. That really makes
the
sense.
the other step that is really important besides the foundational stuff is when we do let them just go chase and chase is properly conditioned a gunshot. And that for us, the way that I do it is only when a dog has that strong prey drive to chase in the moment of chasing where they're just having the time of their lives chasing, I'll do a cadence of a muffled 22 pistol. So it's like boom, 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 not just once, multiple times. And when you do that, the dogs start associating. They're chasing, they're having an awesome time, and
Uh,
now this noise happens in the background. So they become like one, and then with the bird comes the noise, with the noise comes a bird. Um, in the retriever world, because they want to retrieve so badly, you can be out at a distance, throw something and shoot, and you're at a distance, and the dogs are attracted to go chase and stuff. But what you don't want to do is throw a bird out for a dog first time and shoot one really loud shot right over it because you probably just ruined him.
sure. It's
You know?
it's it's interesting, I was that's one of the things I was concerned about with Ruth because obviously she'll be along with hunting, but, like, I shot a deer when she was sitting right beside me, and, we don't have to get into the details of what happened, but I had to discharge my 10 millimeter when we were in Colorado this past time, and she was standing right there and she didn't give a shit, so it was
So you're kind of lucky because if I was sitting next to you and I'm a shooter and I didn't know you were gonna shoot, I would jump out of my skin when you shot. We've all done that.
oh,
You don't expect a
yeah,
shot. So you're fortunate that that didn't turn her to be gun shy, but again, I'm gonna give you um a compliment that you've put enough obedience that you've kind of have her unrattled.
yeah.
She's not rattled by things, but a lot of dogs, if you would have just shot a high powered gun around them and they weren't expecting it, they're gonna tuck their butt and run,
Oh, for
for their
sure.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
good
realized
job.
that it wasn't the best thing, but I was just
Yeah,
happy that, she doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to bother her.
yeah.
It's interesting.
But it's never a case of my dog is, gun shy or not, it's that humans create noise sensitivity or gun shyness by, you know, introducing them to it inappropriately. So you're way ahead of the game because she was fine with that. And now I think, if you get there's got to be bird dog guys right out there in Texas, or come up to me. You're right in
Oh, no,
Pennsylvania.
I'm coming up. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
up. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania. Connecticut's a lot closer than Texas is,
Yeah.
so, no,
So
but
yeah, we'd totally get our own birds. And it's there's only one a first time that dogs get to go on birds for the first time, and it is so much fun to watch, and I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times, and I get the chills every single time because it's just you see, like, them, they just turn on. They just a switch flips, and it's really cool.
yeah, it'll be interesting because I mean, uh, she's a plot hound, right? So
Yeah,
she's supposed to chase bears, so I'd be interested to see.
yeah.
Yeah, interested to see what she does with
I'll bet you we could get her hunting birds, and man, what a then you could go out big game hunting and then change hats and grab your shotgun and turn and go hunt the prairies, and that would be awesome.
it'd be hilarious, 85-pound plot hound working through the fields and getting birds for me. That'd be a lot of fun. I would like
Yeah,
that. It'd be a really good time. So, um,
yeah,
yeah, I just I really wanted to I mean, and what about QK, like, kind of what I know you train a lot of different dogs there, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, I know you do obedience training for people, you train hunting dogs and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So, how does it is how does everything work with you guys up there?
It's been 30 years of me training dogs. I have had so many amazing trainers come through my place that I've mentored and trained, and they've gone on to have training careers. And we continue to train dogs. We continue to train companion dogs for people and hunting dogs for people. Um, I opened the facility back in 2000 and started just training hunting dogs for people, and then I started offering boarding, and then people wanted me to start training just their pets, so I did that. So yeah, we've been boarding dogs for all this time. I have 2 buildings on my property. We at our high point, we had up to over 100 dogs at a time between
Jesus,
boarding and training. I had 4 trainers going at one time. I mean, it
it's
was
a
it
lot.
was a lot, and I've toned it down just because it's hard to go at that level, at that pace. Um, we even got a membership going now. I mean, you don't have to be a member to board there, but it allows you to have exclusive services and shuttles and stuff like that. Because I have a shuttle service that goes into New York City 3 times a week to pick up dogs,
No shit.
and
Yep.
that was one of the secrets of my success in my business when I opened, at the very beginning, is I bought a Chrysler minivan and I put a wrap around it and I send a retired police officer into the city to pick up dogs. And they were like Park Avenue hunting dogs, that would come stay with me and train with me and live in the city and then go to their country houses on the weekends. And yeah, that's fun. So we're all about enrichment for the dogs at the kennel. We do a lot of socialization work with them and exercise, and then chewing enrichment program. And we have an aqua therapy tub for them to do water exercise, and we ATV that rode them. So we love to say a dog at QK is our boarding dogs are never bored. And it's all about the compliment is the dogs usually drag their owners right in through our doors to come stay with us, and they're like, "Peace out," to their families. So
It's awesome.
it's been a lot of fun. I've mentored so many people in the animal husbandry. And it's just been a labor of love. It's just been fantastic.
It's wonderful. I'm happy that you have it. I'm gonna come see it, maybe,
Great.
maybe before you shoot down to Florida this year, once I get
Yeah.
maybe I'll come up and see you guys, so
Yeah. Well, you can come deer hunt too. I got a herd of 9 right out in my horse pasture, and I'm ready for them to go some.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I really like full freezers, so if you want a couple deer killed, I'm your guy. That's not a problem at all.
I want a lot of them, yeah, expelled because it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, not a
Yeah.
problem. We can take care of that, Jen. We
Yeah.
can take care
Yeah.
of that. So,
So
well, I don't, plan on that because 'cause I'm not gonna hunt archery or anything this year because I don't have stuff set up, so maybe I'll come up and see you and we'll
there you go.
do it, so,
Yeah.
but,
I do wanna, what about your business and our involvement? Because, I I've been a great student of this, and, this is going into my s
second
3rd 2nd full year?
second or third year, something like that.
Yeah, and I know I just did my 250th workout the other day.
It's something. That's
Yeah, even
awesome.
Mike said, he goes, "Wow." When I'm in Florida, I do 5 days a week. I think we do,
3 or 4
th
now. Yeah.
3 rocking and 2 weightlifting or
Mhm.
whatever, or opposite. Right now, I'm doing just the 4-day, and, I do 2 weightlifting and mobility and 2 rucking,
Yeah.
and, almost every time that I'm doing the workout, I'm like, "I could be working out so much harder than this. I could be back to doing my beach body that I did for 20 years, but you obviously get me really built for what I do." People tell me I look good. I feel pretty fit, and, man, 227 miles of walking last year. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
It's funny, a couple weeks ago, I did a podcast with Mike too, and he was saying, when he first started working with me and I kept telling him to slow down, he was like, "I don't
Uh-huh.
wanna slow down." And then he's like, it got to a point where it clicked for him, and it was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I get it." And now you see the progress and everything, and so it's just, I think really the testament to a lot of it is your consistency.
I'm consistent.
You're consistent, and
Yeah,
one of the things that allows you to be so consistent is not beating yourself into the ground all the time, you know?
I know,
So,
'cause
and
I'm pretty good at that,
yeah,
and I certainly don't need to do that for my workouts because I know how badly that has hurt me and, injury-wise and everything, and you know all too well, I had shoulder surgery and elbow surgery from overuse stuff from dog training. I mean, it's a very, very physical job, and I love what we're doing with the human predator pack mule because um again, I never feel like I'm working out hard enough while I'm doing it. I mean, there's some stuff like the step ups. When you have me now up to doing 15 minutes of step ups, and I was doing it in Arizona last 2 weeks ago, and it was 115 degrees, and but
that's spicy.
I pivot as I need to. I feel fit and prepared. Um, I wish I had a little bit more hill work, or around here anyway, for some of the stuff that I'll do out west. But
You say you're gonna have to move out of northeastern Connecticut if you want to do that.
yeah, yeah. But it's been awesome for my fitness and my consistency, and I've been really, really grateful. Thank you for what you've taught me.
Well,
And
that makes me really happy. Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that, and it's one of those things where, I want the whole reason I do this is because I want people to be able to do what they love to do for as long as they want
yeah.
to be able to do it, and
I mean,
that's
the other thing too is I'm a list person, so like I mean I'll start my days making lists, and I it's like a drug to me to check off my list. I'm like, oh,
get
check
that.
it off, check it off. I'll make lists just to check things off, and being able to start my day with your workout and check that off, and it's very fulfilling and satisfying for me. And it also really, really holds me accountable. Like I feel like I'm letting you down, myself down, and everybody down, my dogs, if I'm not doing, my 4-day in a week workout. And there's times I've skipped whether I was so busy, or I'll tell you I just gardened for 6 hours and dug holes. Should I really work out, Todd?
Well, and that's yeah, and that's
No. And then by the way, you said, "Can you come landscape for me?" Um,
yeah.
so that was pretty funny, but it's been really tremendous for me, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
Well, I'm grateful to have you. I mean, it's, it's wonderful to when someone hits a milestone like that, like 250 workouts with you, and people stay with you for years because they're getting what they need, and they see how it's enhancing their life. It's like that's the ultimate compliment, and just feeling like you're not limited. You knowing that you can go walk 200 some miles and hunt and feel like you can do it day after day. It's why I do it. So I appreciate you telling me that.
You got it. I'm really grateful. Thank you. It's a great program, and yeah, I tell plenty of people about it, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. Well, once you have your hunting plan settled for this year, once you decide that you're going to skip the competition, and you're going to go hunting instead, we'll get you dialed in for that. So,
Well, I'm definitely hunting. It's just a matter of hunting before it, up till it, after it, around it. I mean, I'm not skipping hunting this
well,
year.
that's not what I'm saying, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying, maybe
that
just
keep
don't
getting
do
me
that
ready.
and just go hunting.
Yeah,
But it's also, I mean, I get it's your job too, right? So, you got to do a certain amount of that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, but didn't you just win the German Shorthair? Uh,
Well, so I was at the nationals with my German Shorthair. They're the breed show nationals, so like the Westminster dog like that type of show
Gotcha,
dog stuff.
gotcha.
And There's only, I think, 5 breeds left out there that can become a champion in the show ring and in the field, and
Mm,
it's typically a Vizsla, a Weimaraner, German Shorthair, Brittany, maybe German Wirehair, maybe a Griffon. There's just not a lot, and Shorthairs are one of the more popular. And my dog is a dual champion, so she's a champion in the field with horseback trials, and she's a champion in the show. So I took her to the nationals, and I don't show a lot, and she's not even the typical. The show dogs just look a little different. They have more weight on them. She had just run a 1 hour horseback championship on a Wednesday and then ran all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at a horseback trial. And Monday we left for Virginia, and she competed like all week. And at the nationals, she made the top 20 dogs in the country for short hairs. So that was, and there was over 300 short hairs there.
that's
So
pretty cool.
that was amazing.
It's really cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that
Yeah.
had to have been, wonderful to see, to have your dog, like it's like you're, it's like being able to go out and hunt on Saturday morning and then go in for a fancy dinner on Saturday.
It is. It's hysterical. Like, I've trade my field pants in and go throw a dress on, and I'm running around the show ring with her, and, it's pretty wild.
That's super cool. Well,
Yeah,
it's great. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that,
thank
but it's a testament to what you do, you do
yeah, thank you.
it's a testament
And
to
it's all, form follows function, so the thing about showing is you're showing for confirmation, and you're showing that the dog breed meets the standard of the size and the looks and the structure and the movement. And that's why the judges have you move out in a circle. They're specifically looking at the dog's top line, the dog's stride, the dog's conformation. Every breed has their specific, plot hound, although I don't think that they're an AKC registered breed, are they?
I don't know.
Plot hound?
No idea.
I'm not even, but like they want to see a Jack Russell move a specific way, as a poodle move a specific way, with a German Shorthair move a specific way, and they want to see specific top lines and tail sets and head, and all of that stuff was specifically bred for their jobs of hunting. Even for terriers, it was for to going underground, so that the conformation of them was to help as their build to help them most proficiently do what they were bred for. So it's when you're doing a run around a circle, the judge is looking at the stride. When they have you go straight out and straight back, they're looking at their foot placement. And so it's a testament to show, my dogs can go hunt all day long because conformationally, they're built right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I do that, is for their breeding program to say, you know, you can go buy a German Shorthair out of the paper that's, non-papered or whatever, but when you can have an animal that's a champion in the field, which shows its athleticism and intelligence, and then it's a champion in the show ring, which shows that it meets the breed standard and it moves properly, you got a really nice animal.
Yeah. And,
It's pretty cool.
yeah, it is cool. It is
Yeah.
cool. I'd like to see it. I haven't seen that many, I've been to a few Hope Fests, that's all I've really seen, so I haven't
Yeah.
seen a lot of the.
I don't aspire to be in the show ring. Like, let me tell you that, but I am beyond proud of my dogs and the titles that they can get in the show ring. It blows me away.
It's
I'm honored.
yeah, that's what you should be. It's
Yeah,
really
I'm
I
honored.
mean, you work hard to get it, you know? You work
Yeah.
hard to get it. But, well,
So,
I've taken up an hour of your time, Jen, so we're gonna end
thank
this,
you.
phone call. So,
Yeah. Thank you so much, friend, and I'm grateful, and, this was fun, and
yeah,
I got my workout tomorrow. I skipped today because I trained dogs early, and, so I gotta go for a walk tomorrow and have a busy week, but,
get on it
thanks for
tomorrow.
everything, friend.
Absolutely, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time and, you know, everything that you talked about with the dogs was helpful to me, and I know it'll help everybody that listens too, so
Sure.
thank you.
If I can help anybody, can
Oh,
I
yeah,
do a plug? Yeah.
contact information, plug yourself,
Yeah,
please.
QKdogs.com, QKDOGS.com. My email is jbroome, BROOME, at QKdogs.com. Um, Facebook and Instagram. I don't do a whole lot of stuff with that, but we're on there. And I have a video series
Yeah,
out.
I
I've
was gonna say,
two,
remind everybody what the name of that is because it helps me a ton.
the video series.
Yeah,
Mastering Canine Communication, and then I have 2 books out, and I'm very proud of my books. I've got, Lead, Don't Follow: The Human Guide to the Puppy Mind. Um, best to order right off my website because Amazon, you only make like 50 cents. And if you order from my website, I will sign it for you and personalize it for you. So, Lead, Don't Follow, The Human Guide to the Puppy Mind is all about when, where, how to get a puppy and all the first stages of raising a puppy once you bring it home. And then Mastering Canine Communication, The Power of the Quiet Cue is my training book.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks you. Yeah. Again, like, and here's the thing is like, I paid full price for that shit. You know what I mean? So I'm not doing this on any kind of like free endorsement. I bought it and it's
I know
absolutely,
you did. Thank you.
of course. I just want people to know that it's worth the money. Like, you know,
Yeah. Thank you.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
um, and I'll put that stuff in the show notes too. So people can just click
Sure.
and
And
all
then non-order, I'm a big fan of my non-order. So
that.
that's about to launch. So it's Gnaw, GNAW, and order, and that's on our website right now. But it's launching as its own business, and it's a entire chewing enrichment system, which is just so cool. I got you involved with it, but it's the dogs love it, and it's got a lot of benefits for it.
It does. I mean, it helped Ruth behaviorally for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. All biologically, all dogs need to chew. It's about giving them the correct chews to safely and then to help satiate them and to help with the dental care and everything else. So there's a huge benefits in chewing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you for all the plugs. I appreciate it.
No, you know what? I meant to bring it up and it slipped my mind. So I'm glad that you did. So
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Keeps yeah, it keeps me going. I appreciate your audience and yeah, happy hunting to everybody and go hit the gym and work your asses off and cover the miles out there.
Absolutely. I think we're going to end right there. That's a mic drop. We're going to stop.
Cover the miles.